again, we have another series of these Patreon accounts that kind of popped out, and they all do the same thing, and they all have a Patreon, and they all post quite frequently. It might be another AI slop scam. So this is a post made by this user Eddie writing, accounts below, as well as Crema Lane, Crema Sane, and Waifu Crematory are all AI slop from the same person, who doesn't mention anywhere that they use AI. Nothing said about that on their Patreon as well. Pretty effing scammy. Again, please don't send hate to any parties involved, but what post exactly are they talking about? I grabbed a screenshot and colored over it because I don't want to get in trouble, but it's an image of your holding, clothing that you wear under your clothes. And it says, your forger SFW, which would imply there's probably an NSFW version. Take a look at this art style, because we will look at the other Crema accounts and they all have, coincidentally, a very similar art style. This image is most definitely AI generated. We can zoom out and I can point out a couple of things that look a bit suspicious on this piece. Very first one, this is a character called Your Forger from Spy X Family. Take a look at the earring that Yor is wearing. This is how the earrings actually look like. They are a hoop that goes into the ear, and it is kind of like a spike that dangles down. What is this shape exactly? That is not what the earrings look like. It's close, but no cigar. And again, if you were making fan art of any sort of a character, you probably would look up the reference photo for how it would look like. Once again, we have elements like we have little strands of hair, kind of coming out of her face. This strand of hair doesn't actually connect to anything. Other strands of hair coming out. Some of the strands of hair, like this one, is melting into the eyelid. It's going this way. Like, do you see how it curves and becomes the eyelid? Not to mention what is happening over here with this eyelid. We have a random strand of hair that doesn't quite look like a random strand of hair. There is a random stroke just right here, which maybe you can make the argument, like the artist accidentally left a brush stroke, which, can happen, right? That's normal. There's other things that, again, you would ask yourself, would an artist, a human, draw this? And the answer likely would be no. Because what is this supposed to be? These lines exactly. That's a bit odd. And then again, she is holding a bra, right? This is not how bra straps work. Maybe it's like a very specific design that makes it really wide here and then it thins out. But then if you look up here, there's two straps up here. There's this strap that does this, which isn't supposed to happen. And there's a strap that melts straight into whatever this is, because that's also not hair, but it's also not the strap for her tank top, but it's also not the bra strap. Like this strap does not connect to the shoulder, like the strap area where it wraps around your body. It's just melting into the hair. And that's just one example from one image. Again, I do want to add this other disclaimer as well. If you're an artist and you happen to make one of these errors, I'm not saying, and nobody is saying, that your work is AI generated. We're using this in context because the accounts have a lot of other red flags. I can't really show you a lot of the artwork on the pages because a lot of them are going to be flagged for NSFW, but the Crema account will post multiple fully rendered art pieces in one day. This is artwork from another one of the Crema accounts because there's like 4 of them. This is of Yamato, who is another character, and it's part of the, again, they have a thing where they drop sets, right? This is from the same set, same character, except again, we have inconsistencies. Look at the way the eyes are drawn. Each eye has one eyelid, and look at the way the hands are drawn. It's a lot more softer, a little bit rounder of the hands. They do tend to draw in fingernails. The horns are a pretty bright red, and look at the made top. There is like a collar and then there's a cutout for the chest area. This is from the same set, same character. All of a sudden there's like 3 eyelids on one eye, and the hand is drawn very differently. The hand is drawn in a much more masculine way, I suppose. A lot more emphasis on the knuckles, etc. Alongside, the ear is also drawn differently. And also anatomically incorrect for an ear, which again, if you're arguing maybe we're being a little bit nitpicky here for the anatomy, but the reason why I'm pointing that out specifically is because the anatomy is really good for the rest of the character. So it would just be a bit odd that the ear is drawn with like 2 sets of inner cartilage. Again, the outfit that's being worn is a made outfit, but also different. But maybe it's artistic choice to choose to put them in a separate, different made outfit for this pose specifically. This is a piece posted by the exact same accounts, and this one is very odd. What is happening to the glasses frames? Alongside the random strands of hair, like I get this character is supposed to be sweaty, but there's just like a random strand of hair here. Alongside the fact that the ears are just completely disproportional to the body. And then we have a bow that has one extra ribbon on this side that somebody's cat chewed up on the bottom here. And the fingers. So not only are there completely different fingernails with different colors, one nail is way shorter than the other nail, and this pinky is molting. And again, we have like 4 wonky buttons on this wristlet and 2 on this one, which is a bit odd. This is again one of the other Creamy accounts. It's the same thing again, where they have a character they're drawing and the character has key elements for the design, like in yours case, the earrings, and on the same character, right ear and left ear, the earrings are drawn differently on the same character, let alone in other versions of this piece, because again, they have multiple your artworks and they all have really wonky earrings. And under the first post about this, a user writes, "This one's very obviously AI, wow. Not sure how people fall for that." And OP writes, "It's very easy to miss at a glance." And another person says, "Not surprising that art accounts get constantly pooped on in the algorithm while AI slop thrives. I'm sure it's just a coincidence." A lot of sarcastic smiles. And they write smile. And another user says, "They post like 10 ultra detailed drawings a week. So yes, it's pretty obvious. And even more when you scroll down to their older, just a couple months artworks with an entirely different style." And another person said, "This guy hid my comment about AI and blocked me. Way to go." And another user quote retweeted it writing, "Wow. Farming followers by making 4 different accounts, churning tons of full render drawings in a day, opening a Patreon, opening a merch shop, and naming the Kara like Timu, even taking commissions with a weird assignment." These are the 4 accounts in question. And again, don't send hate to any parties involved. This isn't about sending hate, but 1, making sure people don't get scammed, and 2, like awareness for artists, because other artists, maybe if you don't realize these are AI accounts, you look at it and you're like, wow, how is this person so successful? Like I post one post, the algorithm dookies on my post, and these people are blowing up. They're making so much art too. Like I feel like a failure because I can't keep up. And well, you're not a failure because they are not artists. They're just generating stuff, which is why they're able to crank out so much work in such a short amount of time. And again, what's the end goal for these accounts? Well, the end goal is profit, right? Like the Patreon, 1.9 thousand members, $2,371 a month just for generating anime girls. But yeah, 3 days ago, they have free sets. The set has 6 parts, 6 fully illustrated images. When's the next? 4 days ago, another free set. 6 days ago, another multi-set fully illustrated. Yeah, that's not made by an actual person illustrating. I think that's the MO too. They just make like a bunch of Twitter accounts with similar names that feed everybody into the same Patreon to try to generate money. And they also sell merch with all the stuff on it. And on top of that, they do commissions. And this is crazy because just read this. Like I make cute girls, so if you want me to make sets, comics, or whatever, you're in the right place. I'm easy and casual to work with, fill out this form, blah, 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 blah. Here's the prices for a solo character. 30 images, $45. 60 images, $60. 100 images, $90. These are not the prices of an illustrator. An illustrator making one solo character for $45 is already cheap as hell. If what they're advertising is what you're gonna get, you know, that level of rendering, whatever. $45 for that, cheap as hell. Even for one image. But 100 images, that is the final nail in the coffin where you know this is AI, because no human being can create this much art for such a price. At least if you live in like the Western side, etc. Maybe if where you live, the cost of living is really low, but even then I would argue like this is still horrifically low for the amount of time that it would take you. I can't imagine like a single currency and country where this could equate to a fair wage. That's wild. And in terms of spotting AI generated works, there was this post that I saw that was a bit interesting where it reads, "This is an AI image. 1 to 3 are commonly seen moods. These are all styles that have been widely used by numerous accounts that sprang up like mushrooms after a rain since the year Stable Diffusion spread. Poses, backgrounds, description methods, clothing, accessories, etc. overlap a lot. Number 4, like Sayaka, can also have a mood that looks like it was drawn by a human. Mo Illustrator's Laura was used. So here we see 1, style number 2, style number 3, and this is number 4. And another person quote retweeted that writing, "These days with AI at this level, I have to strain my brain hard when searching for this stuff. But still, I get fooled every once in a while." And here are some art pieces in question. Another one. This one is a bit more obvious where this eye is like completely garbled. But man, these are hard to tell. And this post talking about it is very interesting. This user writes, "How to tell AI generated art apart is easy. Just look at the external aspects of the image. Quote, a person with this level of skill would absolutely never draw something like this," end quote. That type of vibe. I mean, look at this one. I think this one to me is the most apparent, actually. Like beyond this eyeball just melting into the nose. What is happening here? It's more so like the decisions, right? Like, would a human make this choice? And would a human make it look like, I don't know, your background is some single-celled organisms in a petri dish? maybe not when it looks like the intention was to put a halftone background. Again, none of this is to mean like, oh, if somebody just has something that looks a little fishy in their artwork, to immediately point fingers and accuse every random person you see of using AI. But if there's a bunch of other red flags that already look a little bit suspicious, like, I don't know, fully rendered illustrations every single day, and it's not because this person has 20 years of art backlog they're just reposting here and there, but like, you know, drop in a 6 set fully illustrated images every 2 days. Alongside all of these wonky behaviors, and, you know, they're drawing the same character over and over, but somehow they can never get the earrings right, or they can never get the ear clips right, or the ear looks different in every single image, even though it's literally the same character. Then maybe you could think in your head, I might not be looking at legitimate work. Just stay diligent out there, guys, right? There's more and more of these types of accounts popping up. And again, a lot of people are like, oh, Kat, you're just an AI hater, whatever. I don't like generative AI and what it does to artists. But at the end of the day, it just comes with transparency, right? Because if you go around doing these types of things with a Patreon like this and you don't disclose the fact that you're generating works, it could lead to a situation where people think they're supporting an actual artist and they're not, because they're supporting somebody that's generating works. At least if you're going to support generative AI, which I personally disagree with, at least if you disclose it, somebody comes in fully informed of what they're purchasing. So stay diligent, guys. And again, not everything you see on social media is real. And a lot of times if somebody's work and somebody's posting cadence and frequency and their growth looks a little too good to be real, it might be. But don't use that as an excuse to bully people. This is just information to keep in your mind. So if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. I also have a coffee with free resources like a free sponsorship guide. And I made a Spotify where I uploaded these if that is your preferred method to listen to a little yapping. So I hope you guys check me out there. It'll be linked down below. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. And Thursdays, I've been doing a podcast with my best friend at 7:30. So I hope to catch y'all there or in another video. Peace.